Mood swings, wrinkles, and testosterone, oh my. Tonight we turn our attention to a conversation that rarely makes it into queer spaces, but absolutely should. Aging, hormones, emotional health, and the way masculinity is taught to men across generations, including gay, bi, trans, and queer men. A recent article published by HuffPost is bringing renewed attention to something called Irritable Male Syndrome, often referred to as IMS. While it is not a clinical diagnosis, and I'm not clinical, experts say it describes a very rare cluster of symptoms affecting many men as they age. For LGBTQ plus people who already navigate stigma around mental health, vulnerability, and aging bodies, this conversation hits especially close to home. According to HuffPost, Irritable Male Syndrome is described as, quote, a cluster of symptoms that often appears in aging men, end quote, tied largely to gradual testosterone decline and shifting hormones. The symptoms listed in the article include irritability, depression, low energy, cognitive fog, sleep disturbances, reduced libido, and changes in body composition. These are symptoms many queer men already understand but often experience in silence. The article notes that testosterone levels begin declining about 1% per year after the age of 40, with most men noticing the symptoms between 40 and 60. That timeline overlaps directly when many gay and bisexual men report increased anxiety about aging, desirability, and relevance in communities that have historically centered on youth. James Davis, a coaching psychologist, explains why IMS often goes unnoticed. He says testosterone decline is more of a, quote, slow drip, end quote, compared to menopause. For LGBTQ plus men, that slow drip is layered with other pressures. A dating culture that prioritizes youth, healthcare symptoms that often lack cultural competence, and a generation of men who were taught that vulnerability is weakness. This article frames emotional changes as health issues deserving care, conversation, and compassion instead of character flaws. LGBTQ plus communities must be part of this conversation and not an afterthought. Well, in reading this article, one thing I thought about was, because, I was married for 32 years, so it was always, always heard about menopause. I'm like, okay, this is menopause, clearly, IMS, but we can all relate, I'm sure. They talk about us men when we have our midlife crisis. Mm-hmm. But when they start talking about the symptoms, I'm looking through those, and being the young 62-year-old that I am today, those symptoms are aging. They really are all those same symptoms we see when we're aging. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting that they're tying it to this.
Yeah.